we're doing it. Yay! All right. So we don't have any viewers just yet. All right. So let me just chit chat a bit while, because I actually started a solo live to kind of apologize to them that, my guest wasn't able to make it just yet because she's trying to sort out her technical issues.
I'm really, really bad. Anything technology, if it don't turn off and turn on,
right,
chances are it's not going to happen.
Yeah, it's okay because right here, right now, we're actually live, so it's still being recorded, although we don't have any viewers yet, right?
Okay.
So did you send something out to your friend them to come and watch and engage us on Jamaicans.com?
Jamaicans.com?
Yeah, that's the Facebook page that we're on. Yes, three viewers. Can you just shout? Just wave your hand. Say something. Well, not you. My viewers. I see. So if you just wave your hand, make a comment in the comment box, leave something, let me know that you're here. Say something. Comment. Hey y'all. Comments. Let me know. Let me know you are here. Okay. All right. So I see we have some viewers. Okay, no, that is. I see viewers, but they're not commenting. They're not talking to me. I don't know why. Nobody's talking to me. Okay.
Oh no.
I do see that we have viewers. Anyway, I'm gonna get cracking because then we're gonna have the video on demand, right?
Okay.
So, hey, Car from Bronx, big up yourself. Big up. Big up, Car.
Hi, Car. How are you?
Big up, Car. Yeah, big up.
Hi.
All right, so
is it night your time?
It is now 6:07 in Jamaica.
Okay.
Big up. All right, so let me just quickly go into what it is because of course there's video in demand. Hi everybody. I'm your girl Heneka Watkis-Porter, and I do a lot of things, right? So I'm host of the Entrepreneurial You podcast. If you haven't checked that out yet, you need to check it out on iTunes or HenekaWatkis-Porter.com. I'm the founder of Patois Apparel, and I'm wearing a Patois shirt now. Woohoo! And I love to promote. And so I am here, and I'm going to be sharing with a very wonderful guest that I have on my very first Heneka Watkis-Porter live on Jamaicans.com. So, first of all, I want to big up Jamaicans.com. Big up Xavier. He's been doing great. And I'm thankful for this opportunity to connect with the diaspora and just to do to run my show, with such a great audience. Here's the thing though. Let me just get some matters out of the way. So if you're a marketer or you have a product and you're watching and you think that you want to do some product placement, we are open to that. So you're seeing my banner, that could be you know what I mean? That could be you. So anyway, this show is not about me. It is so much about Sasha Lee Hague-Seals. Yay! Sasha, thank you so much for joining me today. It's now 7:08, or is it, what time is it in Japan now? 8:09. That's Monday, right? On Monday. Yeah. So it's Monday morning in Japan, while it is still Sunday evening in Jamaica. So you guys tuning in, just shout out, leave a comment, let me know where it is that you are connecting with us from. I'll be happy to shout out to you. So now, because we're fast, right? I brought Sasha Lee on, and Sasha is going to tell me this or Jamaican. What the hell are you doing in Japan? When did you leave Japan? When did you leave Jamaica, rather? What happened?
I don't know. I don't know much about the beaten path. So I didn't want to do the America, Canada, UK thing, but I wanted some exposure. And I had friends on the JET program here, which is a Japan exchange of teachers. So you have whole for Jamaicans here, actually. And the guy I was dating actually was in Japan for 2 years, and then I came here and joined him. But I always loved fashion, and at UTech we had Japanese classes as well as when you would see the Japanese girls. I mean, like in Crossroads or whatever, their fashion was like really like quirky. So I really wanted to see like what it was all about. So I'm like, why not try Japan?
Mm-hmm.
If it doesn't work, I can always go back home.
Okay. And how long was that?
13 years ago.
13 years ago. So, in other words, what I hear from you is that you didn't have man in Japan.
Yes. Jamaican man.
Jamaican man. So, tell me something now, because while it's a conversation that gone far, even before I had to go there, you know what I mean? You reached there already, so let me just go. So the man, is that the same man that you're with now? Is that or a different man?
No.
Okay.
Altogether different.
Altogether different.
Not Jamaican, but the guy I came here to be with is Jamaican. He's Jamaican. He's still here too.
Oh, he's still there. Okay. But you're now married and married with children. Tell us about family life.
It's not Jamaica, which is I mean, in every essence you can think of. While in Jamaica, it's a matriarch. Well, I think it's a matriarchal society because most of our innovators and entrepreneurs, etc., are women. In Japan, once women have children, they stop working and stay at home. Like, so it's a full-on like housewife, husband works, housewife community.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a big shock because when I got pregnant, I was like, okay, 3 months and then I'm back to work. And then my boss was like, oh, we'll keep your resume on file. I'm like, resume on file? Like, when did I quit my job? I'm just like, you know what? I'm never working for anyone again. And this child, go back downstairs. I'll be done in a second, okay? I'll kiss your foot later. I'm on.
Oh, hi, we can see. So that's one of you. I'm not seeing. Who is that? Please introduce us.
What's your name? I'm Hannah.
Hi, that's Sasha Lee's daughter. Oh yeah, we get to do these lovely things and passing people business. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I didn't put her on the bus, so I'll have to drop her at school later. But yeah, man. It's very interesting because back home there you understand education system, you understand what your child needs to do, you understand registration. And even though I speak Japanese, I still don't understand like the unwritten rules in the culture. So it really took a toll from like when my first daughter went into kindergarten. I think it was the most traumatic thing because I'm so used to being on top in school, like you know what is what. But here I almost had a nervous breakdown because I'm just like, my child is going into school. I don't know what's gonna happen, and nothing happened. Like absolutely nothing happened. She had a fantastic 3 years. I know she started elementary school, but so family life, it's very different because my husband's not Japanese, so he doesn't do the typical Japanese thing, which is doing overtime until like 7-8 o'clock at night, every night.
Mm-hmm.
So my husband doesn't do that. He leaves the office at 5:30, maybe 6. So it's very different from like a traditional Japanese family where the husband gets up at 5 o'clock in the morning, goes to work, and doesn't come home until everybody's in bed. But for my family life, it's very different. My husband is home most evenings for dinner, and life is what it is, just regular life.
Okay, amazing. So, you left Jamaica 13 years ago, and when you first went to Japan, how was that language thing for you? Because you speak fluent Japanese, right? No, do you?
Relatively. I mean, I have not formally studied Japanese, so if you start talking about politics and government and stuff like that, the words will fly past me because I'm not sure of the content.
Yeah.
But just speaking to me on a regular, just talking, that's totally fine. And reading basic stuff is totally fine. But when I just came here, the only words I know was konnichiwa and hajime mashite, which is hello and it's nice to meet you, basically. Those were the only two. And I was in a countryside
Oh,
where there was only one train per hour. And in Japan, train goes every 5, 10, 15 minutes. So when I say one per hour, it's like Bakabush.
mhm.
And there was just nobody around. And having left Jamaica, where every weekend I'm gone, or my friends at the house, and I'm in this place, and like at 6 o'clock, the whole town is quiet. The lights in the in the town only blink because there's not enough traffic. It was a massive, massive culture shock. It was too quiet. It was just too quiet at
Please,
first.
yeah, yeah. Go ahead, go ahead.
And then I just couldn't talk to anybody. That was the bigger thing. Come, I love talk. I'm a chatterbox and I couldn't talk to anyone. It was the most frustrating thing I'd ever come across. So I had to study. Like I had to talk to people. So I was like, you know what? My Japanese, my words were horrible, but I didn't care. I needed to talk to people. So I just tried and it was okay.
Hmm. Because guys, my fans, my or viewers, let me just tell you that I know Sasha Lee personally, right? And that kind of life that she's describing is kind of, I mean, I'm like, how the hell she gonna manage that? Because she really loves to talk. That's one, and she's really an outgoing personality. So I cannot envision you actually in that environment. Oh, I just know how frustrating it must have been. But thanks be to God, you stuck through it, and
Yeah.
you're where you are now. No, I want you to tell us. I mean, you began to tell us a little bit about family life and stuff.
Mm.
But overall, the culture, I just want you to just delve a little more into the whole transition process between leaving Jamaica and fully cementing into, assimilating into the Japanese society. Take us through a little bit about like even the food, like the places that you go, place of worship, stuff like that. Kind
All
of.
right.
Sure.
All right. So first, I mean, if you're Jamaican and I'm thinking of coming to Japan, just remember anything that you're used to in Jamaica is the exact opposite. So in Jamaica, we have sweets. In Japan, like when I came and they're like, oh, have this sweet. And I'm like, where's the sweets? It's like whatever we have in Jamaica, most of the beverages have no sugar in it, right? So
Yes.
I had to get used to drinking tea with no sugar to the point if I come to Jamaica, I can't drink anything with sugar in it. Our food is more heavy and stew based and curries and whatever. While there is white rice, and white rice don't cook with salt, and don't cook with butter. It's just white rice in a pot with water. So that took some getting used to.
How
Um, yes, well, it tastes all right. Okay, I guess after 13 years, my taste have changed.
13 years will taste all right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
after 13 years, but there's no or like meats. There's not a lot of like heavy meats. It's like thinly sliced meats, and they don't use curry. Like so, the food is really nothing we have in Jamaica is similar. Even the cup ramen, I don't eat cup ramen here, right? And that's the closest thing I would say, like in Jamaica that you would have there. The food is nothing like we have in Jamaica. There's fish, but it's eaten raw. There is beef, but it's cut thinly, so it's cooked in 5 minutes. So it's not a stew heavy curry base that we're used to in Jamaica. It's literally the opposite of what we do in Jamaica. That's what happens in Japan. But I got used to it. Of course, me still cook my rice and peas for Sunday and my chicken and my salad and whatever. That I mean, that still hasn't changed. But it was very hard getting used to that. And the silence, I think, was the biggest thing because when I started my job and I was in the countryside, my apartment was surrounded by rice field. I don't know what rice look like because we don't grow rice in Jamaica. And I didn't know that there's a lot of frogs in there because it's like basically swamp. So I'd be walking home and there'd be frogs jumping out near my apartment and not happy. So that was getting me. So, and the whole place, there was like absolutely no noise. It was just so quiet. It was actually freaky. So that was one, but gratefully I found a friend who's American and his wife was Japanese, and they basically adopted me. Or I think I probably would have gone home after the first 12 months. It was really, really that bad. Like at that time there was no Skype, there was no Facebook, there was Brastel cards,
There,
and
there was
My
what?
phone bill was like 40,000 Jamaican a month because I needed to talk to people. It was really, really, I feel like it was really, really, really bad. It took a lot of adjustment. I'm 5'7", and everybody here is like 5'1", 5'2", so I couldn't find clothes. I had a perm at the moment at the time, and there's no black hairdresser, so there was nobody to perm my hair. So my hair grew out, and I had to learn how to perm my hair by myself, and then I had to learn to braid by myself. It made me self sufficient. It forced me to grow up really quickly and grow up and learn how to stand on my own 2 feet. So I was grateful for that first year, but it was really, really traumatic. I had no support system because the person I came here to be with, we broke up after a month. So after only 30 days, I was literally on my own because, Jamaican woman, we fit in rank. I must say, I don't care if I'm going to do it. And if you want to marry me still, you have to try again. And he didn't. And I'm like, peace be unto you, my brother. So I moved out because, I have my education, so I'll always be able to find a job. Moved out after 30 days. Moved to a different city with no support system. That's why my phone bill was $400 a month, 40,000 Jamaican a month. But I didn't understand. The supermarket is different because when you go in Jamaica, like you go supermarket, certain things. I don't know what flour is. I don't know what the word flour was in Japanese. But by salting is sugar. There's squid and eel and all kind of stuff in the supermarket, and I don't know what those foods are. So for my first time, I think I ate chicken every day because I know what chicken was.
Right.
It was really, really, really a tough adjustment. I think after I came home after 18 months, I had lost like 15 kilos, like over 30 some pounds, and I wasn't that big at the time. So when after leaving Japan the first time, I could fit Japanese clothes, so it was really, really a mental adjustment, a physical adjustment, my hair, my everything. There's no nail. At the time I came here, to do your nails, it would cost about 20,000 a month at each time. And I wasn't going to do that. So like literally everything in Jamaica, that is how the world is, or take for granted that's how the West is. Japan wasn't that. It's evolved in the last 13 years, but my initial visit was really crazy.
All right, let's take a break right here and say hello to all our viewers. You're just joining us, speaking with Sasha Lee Hague. She's a Jamaican who is now living in Japan, and she's sharing her experience. And quite an awesome experience. But you know what? I know what I know of Sasha Lee is that she's very adventurous, and love to explore and stuff. And after 13 years, she has stuck it out for 13 years. The experience was a shock to her. She has stuck it out for 13 years, and here she is now. She's assimilated into the Japanese society. And so she's talking us through the transition. And so how is it now for you? And looking back, you're saying to yourself, was it really all that bad now that you are here? You know what I mean? Was it all that bad? How does it?
Yes, it was. It was really bad. It was really bad. I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. It was really, really bad.
Hey, say no. Licia is here. Licia is online.
But it was honestly, Heneka. So what I've done with the Jamaican community since I've been here is that everybody that's new, I tell them, listen, come on my house, come and eat with my family. I give them all the information, where the hair places are, where the nail places are, how to save, how to budget. My mom is like a mom to half of the 20-something-year-olds in Japan because I don't want anybody to go through what I went through. It was really a culture shock. And even though things have evolved where you can now call and FaceTime your friends and WhatsApp and line, so the lines of communication are easier. I tell everybody when you come, don't worry. First thing, get Japanese. You suck it up. Oh, I'm only going to be here for a year. That's what I plan to do. And here I am 13 years later. So because of that traumatic experience, that actually built a backbone for me. Every time I meet a new Jamaican, I'm like, listen, You need to, first thing when you come here, study Japanese. Because you come here as an English teacher, and most of us were not satisfied with just teaching English. And the only way you're going to move out into corporate Japan, which Japan needs people to work, they will hire you. Study Japanese. I don't care what you do, study Japanese. If you feel tired, come on my house. That's why we have guest room. Come sleep, eat some Jamaican food, come talk to mommy. But it was
Japan. I definitely need to go. I definitely need to go. You know, it has, you've said something very interesting, is that it has built backbone for you, right? And you didn't have backbone long time, right? But it has certainly built that for you. Now, you went to teach Japan, to teach English rather.
Yes.
And here you're no longer teaching officially, right? Are you?
I don't no longer teach.
Right.
No.
So you don't have your own business, and that is the exciting part I want to hear about. Person listening want to hear, how you start business in Japan and how is that going and what's the name of your business? Take it away.
Actually, starting business in Japan is not particularly difficult. Okay, in the West, you have to be innovative and cutting edge, and just be on it. In Japan, you have to follow the rules. Once you follow the rules, you're okay. Mm-hmm. So, when my daughter was 1, I wanted a birthday cake, and there was none. Nobody had cake that I like. The cake them have no sugar. It's soft. It's whipped icing. No, I wanted a real cake for Maya's birthday. Mm-hmm. And when I started, and I'm like, okay, you know what? I can bake. Nothing wrong with my hand. So, first and foremost, Japan doesn't have ovens.
Okay.
So I'm telling you, you have your stove with the oven? No, we have microwave ovens that bake stuff and microwave. Okay? So I'm like, okay, so how am I going to bake? So I had to bake one by one in this microwave oven. And I baked my daughter's cake. And my friends are like, can you bake a cake for me? And I'm like, sure. I was home because, as I told you, when I got pregnant, my boss was like, we'll keep your resume on file. And I'm like, this girl not staying home to turn into a housewife. It's just not going to happen. So I baked a cake for my daughter, and then my friends started asking me to bake cakes. And then I just started baking cake, and then I'm like, you know what? It started being friends of friends, and then friends of other friends, and I'm like, no, I can't do this because I could get into trouble. Mm-hmm. So I just went to the city hall and found out, how do I set up a place to provide food? So first you need a food handler's permit. And to get a food handler's permit is basically sitting in a session, listening to what they're saying, fill out a test, and then that was it. So you have a food handler's permit. So legally, I'm allowed to make food. Then I had to provide a location that the city approved that food can be prepared in this place, because you can't cook in the same room that you prepare your normal meal. So we have another room downstairs beside the kitchen. So we just converted that into a bakery. So once I converted that into a bakery now, then I started going out and, trying to get clients. So a friend of mine was Asia Pacific director for a coffee shop. And one day he just mailed me online, Sasha, can you make some cupcakes for the shop? And I'm thinking it's just for his, the staff. Mm-hmm. And I go into this meeting and they're giving me specs for the cupcake for the coffee shops. And I'm like, oh, you mean because I didn't know. I honestly didn't know what to expect going into the meeting. And at first it started, a couple, like one shop, the main shop, a couple dozen a week, then 40 a week, then a couple hundred for the week. And now it's at 4 shop and we're doing batches of hundreds, like 1,000 for the, for the period. So I'm just like, okay, I can do this. And then I have friends who was actually in the food industry, and she just said, can you make this dessert? I'm like, I've never tried it before. I'm not American, but I will make it. And I made it for her. And she said, okay, it tastes like what American desserts supposed to taste like. So I started selling to that restaurant. And then this Peruvian guy asked me, can you make this cake? And I'm like, I've never made it before, but I can follow a recipe and see what it tastes like. And I'm like, is this what it tastes like? And he said, yes. So then I started selling to that restaurant. And then I have contracts with like with Coca-Cola for all their events. Sometimes with Google, depending on the company. So I do like some corporate events throughout the year. But to start the business itself wasn't difficult. But Japan has something called uchi and soto, and that literally means inside and outside. And there's a very defined line. Once you're outside, you cannot come in. And once you're inside, you necessarily can't be kicked out. So I am always soto, gai kokujin. And it means you're literally on the outside, right? And it's not, nobody will, I've never experienced true racism here. I've never experienced like people, I mean, I see bad looks, but who cares? Like, I really don't care. But I've never been like worried about my personal safety or anything like that. But I know that even though people are friendly to me and I think that they're my friends, they're still like, they'll never invite me home. And to a Jamaican, it's like, when you can't come in your yard, like, really? Like, I've known you for like years and I've never been in their house. We've had dinners out, they've been to my house, but there's never been a reciprocal invitation to the home because that's uchi, that's like my sanctuary or my sanctuary. There, people just don't go to people's houses. So the business part, the reason I mentioned the inside and outside is because Japanese people would normally not venture off in business on their own. They work in a company. So you leave university, you enter a company, you do the hours, and you're promoted. While us non-Japanese, we go against the curve. So I would go and say, hey, don't you want to sell my cupcakes to a random shop? A Japanese person wouldn't do that. And because of that, and because I'm like, hey, you want to sell my cupcakes? They're like, okay, sure, let's try it. And it works or it doesn't work out. But for business-wise, no. Once you follow the rules here, it's pretty easy to start a business. And actually, you need no capital. To start my business, I needed no capital. I didn't have to prove. Actually, to start a business, you need like 1 yen, $1. That's it. So you really need you don't need to prove capital unless you're going to borrow money. You need to prove no capital to start a business here.
Oh, interesting. That you mentioned that, somebody just commented. Let me see who it is. She is, I don't know if it's a she or a he. I don't know. I don't want, Poivre Jones. Forgive me if I'm not pronouncing it correctly.
Hi.
She was just saying that, or he, I'm not sure. So please correct me. That the Japanese usually love Jamaicans and love our culture. And what I'm saying to her or he, please correct me because I'm not able to tell from here, from the name, is that although they love our culture and everybody does, but at the end of the day, every nationality is going to protect its own. And so they're subtle, even if it's not very overt, there's usually some very subtle cultural thing or norms or, you know what I mean, that will kind of keep you at bay in a very subtle way. So, yeah.
In Japan, it's not subtle.
Oh.
It's not subtle.
You know what was interesting? But let me share this with you because I don't know if you hear about this, but we have this. Yes.
Let me tell you something. This is what upset me about that whole thing. As a Jamaican in Japan, there's a dancehall reggae event almost every night. And Jamaicans are mostly excluded. In that, there's a Jamaican festival in Japan, and this festival, One Love Festival, has been on for over 15 years because when I came here, and there were no Jamaicans involved. The Jamaican embassy got a booth, and this is the premier reggae event, was the premier reggae festival for the year. One Love, your Yogi Park, you had thousands and thousands, over 10,000 people to go to the festival, and no Jamaicans were involved. We had a Jamaican here, Miss Yvonne Goso, who fought to get Jamaicans on the stage to just perform and show what Jamaicans are, because all them have is Batty Rider, skin out. And I'm like, that is not true. Okay, that's a part of our culture. Dancehall is a part of our culture. But we have other things. Also, when you go to like Mighty Crown events, you think as a Jamaican, because they're Jamaican, they're like, oh, won't I be here? Like, it's like, hello, I'm Jamaican. Side for me. And when you go to parties, I go dance, me not really look for nobody. The girl, them a wind up and a drop on them head like, okay, you do that. I'm sorry, I don't do that kind of thing. So I am not the one. I'm not the one. So it's very, very, very different. In Japan, reggae is for Japanese. Japanese Japanese reggae artists, Japanese reggae clubs, Japanese. It is very, very Japanese for reggae. So when they go to Jamaica and Jamaica, like they see all these Japanese in videos and oh yeah, my Japanese friends, look at the Japanese videos. You don't see Jamaicans represented. And we're here. It's not like we're not here. So what with this whole ranking pumpkin about racism and whatever?
You know,
Because in Japan, there is no event where a Jamaican enters. Them create a separate section for the Jamaicans. You understand what I mean? So there's no inclusiveness in Japan. That she had that warm welcome in Jamaica compared to what we have in Japan. So she talked about when Bob Marley reggae. No, that is not what's going on. And I was really, really, really upset by her statements. I don't know if she forgets what Japan is like, but in Japan, reggae is for Japanese. Us as Jamaicans have to create our own thing. I have a friend who brings artists from Jamaica. Last year, she brought Bugle to Japan for a tour. Mm-hmm. And she's a Jamaican, married to a Japanese. They have a little boy. You know, she really wants to make it an authentic Jamaican experience, not just dancehall, but reggae and music and, you know, like what we Jamaicans would appreciate. And she invited Bugle. She did the Bugle tour. Bugle loved her. You know, she really hustled because she's a mother, she's a teacher, she's an entrepreneur, and she's doing her MBA. You understand? So she was on her hustle, right? And she had Bugle, and you know, it was her first artist, and she carried from club to club, and she learned the situation. And he's like, listen, I respect how you do your business. Next time you want Bugle to come to Japan, I will do it. So another Japanese saw how good she did at this. A Japanese person saw how good she did at this job. Mm-hmm. And he went to Bugle and said, Bugle, I want to bring you to Japan. He's like, well, are you dealing with this girl? Because I had this Jamaican girl, because I had a good experience with her. And I told her, if she's bringing me back to Japan, I'm going to work with her. So Bugle is now saying, okay, I will work with you. Did you know what they did? They offered him twice the amount she could pay. So only Japanese would be able to bring him back. She can't afford twice that. So when Rankin Pumpkin stand up with her, whatever, and people jumping on, oh, we should be nice to foreigners and whatever. When I came to Japan, I had to understand Japanese culture. I had to suck it up and not chew bubblegum on, not speak how I wanted to, not dress the way I wanted to, because I had to assimilate to Japanese culture. She should assimilate.
Hold up point, Sasha. Hold up point. Don't go. Let me just a comment here I want to read. Okay, yes, same point where it says that social media has a lot to do with some of the misconception about our culture and YouTube. Most Japanese watch these and think that's what we're all about. And that's exactly what Sasha Lee has been saying. That, yeah, it's a really misguided view. And then it's maybe because we are not, I don't know if it's that we're not so embraced our culture. We thought, wow, but here we are getting the backstory, because it's not all a bed of rose in Japan with them embracing us. You know, it's as if we started something, we're the owners of it, but they want to kick us out. And this now leads me to a more political question. What is our country doing to protect our intellectual property? What is leaders doing to protect what we have and call our own? We are allowing persons to come and take it and believe that they have a right, some inherent right, God-given right, because they happen to be Japanese and they're not black as in the true sense of blackness. So they feel that, and she called it balling racism. Hell to the flipping no. Anyway, this is about you, Sasha Lee. Let me take it back. Put it there.
No, but these are there are simple things I want to talk about. So what I did was, this month in Japan on Japanese TV, there's a program called Tonari no Gaikokujin, mean the foreigner next door. And Jamaica is going to be focused on, and my family is going to be focused. And this is a national, nationwide program. It's like basic cable where everybody watch.
Right.
So I had to explain, like, one of the things he found so cute was, oh, Jamaican men are gallus. I hear about Jamaican men being gallus. And I'm like, listen, before you start thinking it's all cute because you have a lot of broken families, you need to understand that this is something we got from slavery. You take African families on a boat, you bring them come our next country, and what do you use the men for? Use the men for impregnating. Them and know for them impregnating them, cousin them, sister them, but they don't. That this is something that happened for decades and decades and decades where no family units were. So don't just think that only couple decades after sort of all of a sudden we're going to change. There's a lot of things in Jamaican culture that we don't even realize. It's heritage from slavery. So when he thought it was so cute to be talking about Gallus, I had to bring him back and say, honey, no. In Japan, you can trace back 50 generations. In Jamaica, you don't even know who shares your DNA because we were brought into a country and the strongest male populated. So that question quickly got squashed. And someone asked about my Japanese. Speaking of Japanese, where I was able to do an entire television program in Japanese.
I have to engage my people here. Grace is saying, how proficient is Sasha in Japanese?
Yeah, that's how I'm answering. So,
says, I know this interview, lots of information, culture. Yes, we're going to be here. We're going to be doing this every other week. So every 2 weeks is when we're going to be on. And we're going to be bringing Grace. It could be you here one of these days. Who knows, right? Because you're living in the U.S. and I know you're a Jamaican. So yes, Sasha, continue. Take it back from me.
Yeah. So yeah, it's I don't know. That program, I think I didn't give them what they wanted because they were coming up with all these stupid, just asinine questions about Jamaica, and I am not the one. I'm not the one for you to come and ask, oh, so I hear that, Jamaicans do this or Jamaicans men are what. I'm like, listen, back it up. Every country has its culture. In Japan, a man would have never approached me. It just wouldn't happen. It wouldn't happen. But in Jamaica, men, if I walk down the street and somebody not say psst, or whatever for like 2 days. And when people come on the street. Yeah, when people come on the street. And I had to tell him, like, listen, whatever your concept of what Jamaica is, that's not Jamaica. The Jamaica I grew up in, I was raised in a community in Highgate. I wasn't raised by my parents. I was raised by a community. I was raised by a church community. So my children are raised by a community and they're raised by a church community, right? And I think Lisa asked about raising children in Japan and what is it like. One, them go school, but them go church on Sunday because I need them to understand where mommy is and where mommy comes from. And also at church, it gives them an opportunity to meet children who are not Japanese. So they're able to speak English. So they're mixed with Nigerians and Kenyans and Filipinos and Chinese. So it's a diverse set of people. So they have a different worldview than I have. And for the Jamaican culture, this one Miss Lou, I know Jamaican children probably don't do it, but they can sing Miss Lou and them know all of, because I love poetry. I grew up on JCDC, as you know, Heneka. We grew up on JCDC. So good job, Princess. So they grew up on JCDC. They watch old Oliver Lodge, old things that I can actually deal with. And like for me, music is essential. But most of the music that comes out of Jamaica, my children will not listen to it because I'm not going to explain what those words are. So they live on chronics. Mm-hmm. They live on chronics day and night in the car because it's a part of their culture. So she'll ask, what is Natty Dread? And I get to explain that to her. And, and it's like, why is he saying officer? And I'm like, that's a police officer. So there are ways that my children are more Jamaican than they are American because their dad is American, but they're more Jamaican in their culture and mannerisms. And then I speak to them in patois, which I wouldn't have done in Jamaica. After their English was solidified, I started speaking to them in patois. But when I really get upset, there's no English to be heard. So they know when the patois start Lego, they need to run and hide or jump in before, But raising children, the society has, done what they do with them. But when they come home, it's all English. It's all it's American as well, because my husband, when he's home, does, all the American stuff. And but it's Jamaican. It's a Jamaican household. My mom lives with us, so they have two strong Jamaican women in the house.
Yes.
Kalaloo.
Can mommy come on the screen at some point? Can mommy say wave? She's there?
Mommy's sleeping. Today's our day off. She was on the farm till late. So we bought her house like 7 years ago, but last year we bought a property in the back. So mommy is planting callaloo and thyme and scallion and all kind of things. So them eat them callaloo. You know, me make my pop, so cornmeal porridge make, curry chicken, ital stew, rice and peas. So they know the food, they know the music, and they know the culture, because in Japan they'll never be accepted as Japanese. No matter what they do, they'll never. Mommy, Heneka want to say hello.
Hi, on TV.
Just wake up. So yeah, I just think it's absolutely essential that they know that they're Jamaican, because one thing with Jamaican, all them go home and them never leave Jamaica. Oh, I'm Jamaican. You're automatically accepted. We don't have this, but were you really raised here? And blah blah blah. It's very like welcoming on like the Japanese society. Not that they're going to be like, oh my gosh, she's not Japanese, but for their entire life, every time they meet someone, they're gonna be like, "Nihongo sugoi desu ne. Oh my god, your Japanese is so awesome. Ah, doko kara kimashita?" And they're gonna be really annoyed. Like, I was born here, I was raised here. That is why I speak Japanese. And no matter what, children who are of mixed descent, no matter their parents, one mom or dad is Japanese, for their entire life, they'll be asked the same question. And it's called, like, we call it, it's not overt racism, but it's like, oh, you don't look like us. How do you speak our language? I'm like, just like anybody else, you study. Like, it's no big deal, it's a language. You know, it's not like they're asking you to start a rocket. So, but like, I live in a small community, and everybody knows us. And I think one of the things is, when I just moved here, I was 7 months pregnant at the time. And I'm like, house party. Yay, I'm going to invite all the neighbors because, hey, what's up? We're a new neighborhood. And my friends are like, nobody's going to come because Japanese people don't go to people's house. Everybody in the neighborhood came to the party. And this was the funniest thing. I have a neighbor that lives just to my right, a house to my right, and across the street. And when they came to my house 7 years ago for the house party, was the first conversation they've ever had. And they've lived in the community more than 10 years.
Wow.
They never had a conversation till they came to my house. So that's that. You can see how different it is from Jamaica. Like, literally next door, and all they say is good morning, how is the weather? And,
oh my God.
and 10 years, and it's when I had a house party to say we're in the neighborhood. That's when these people met and talked. So it's not just me. It's not like, oh, they're ostracizing this foreigner. It's just Uchi and Soto, not Japanese versus. It's whoever is inside my house versus whoever is outside of my house. So I've become a pro at, how is the weather? Oh, it's going to rain today.
So how is the weather, Sash, right now?
Actually sunny. It's fabulous outside, actually.
Okay.
It's nice and warm, and it won't rain today. These are the conversations I'll have for half of the day.
All right, so let's pause here and remind persons who are just joining in, we are having a great conversation.
Mosquito.
You're watching Heneka Watkis-Porter, Sasha Lee Hague-Seals, a Jamaican who now lives in Japan and is doing awesome stuff. She's actually she runs a business, and you know she's spreading the Jamaican culture. And you know, she's saying something right now which is quite fascinating, and I think this is what I'm going to use to even start another debate. Because recently we just concluded Magnum Kings and Queens of Dance Hall, right? And so we've been getting the backlash for not allowing, I guess, Ranking Funky to win, because she thought it was her God-given right to win. The fact that she, you know, came from Japan and was placed this high position in a totally Jamaican product competition, it wasn't enough for her. And we're not saying that it's not okay to dream big and have expectations, But then you have to put that into context. And we're getting even more context to the background right now from Sasha Lee, who's sharing with us that those Jamaican events that are being held, in those Jamaican events, those reggae events that are being held in Japan, Jamaicans are pretty much ostracized from them. So why then can somebody think that they have this God-given right and this, I don't know, I should win kind of an approach. So thank you so much, Sasha, for sharing that. And I think what I want to hear.
Oh, there's mommy.
From is, hey, Auntie Helena. Say hi to our viewers. We have lots of people viewing. We have about 29 persons online. We have Summer, we have Alicia, we have Grace, Poivre. Hi. Yeah, we have some. Not everybody has commented. Yeah. We have a number of persons who are listening to us and watching us, and certainly this is going to be on demand. So even after we ended in another 10 minutes, the video will be up so that you can go on and view. And yeah, we're having interesting conversation here about the culture shock that Sasha Lee faced. Hi everybody, Sasha Lee's mommy. Wait, come up further, come up closer so we can...
Come stoop down, I'm bring it up to her.
Hi. Yeah, share with us your experience to, how you watched Sasha Lee assimilate into the culture and what it was like for you to your own personal experience leaving Jamaica to live in Japan. And why did you leave Jamaica?
She leave London.
That's a long story.
Okay. All right. Okay. So you left London and you went to Japan and you're now there. What is it like for you?
Oh Lord.
That's another long story.
It's as you hear, it's a culture shock when I came here. Actually, I live in an apartment when I came here for 5 years and I didn't know my neighbor.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. I didn't know my neighbor. I mean, anybody in the neighborhood.
Apartment complex. None of the apartments.
Whoa.
Yes.
Whoa.
Yes.
Sweet Jamaica, nah left ya.
But living here is really a lot of experience.
Yeah.
I have gained so many experiences and meeting people from all over the world.
One sec. Hi, Sandra. Hi, June. Welcome, June in New York. Say hello. I have daughters in Sweden.
Hi.
She has daughters in Sweden. It's the same thing. And Sandy is from Florida. Yes. Hi. Welcome. Continue, Auntie.
3 generations of Jamaicans in Japan.
Mommy, daughter, and granddaughter. Hi.
Yes.
That's Hannah, right? Hannah.
Yes. Detangler.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So, one of the things before I cut off, I think it's, as Jamaicans overseas, it's our responsibility to show who Jamaicans really are. So because of that, this year I am doing the first charity gala, which is going to be on November 23rd. It's the first one. And I'm going to ensure that it's not dancehall. It is our spoken word. It's our art. It's going to be fashion, all of that. So I've actually confirmed the date, confirmed the location. It's an embassy endorsed event, and all proceeds goes back to a charity back home, and it will have what is truly Jamaican, because I think our problem is that we're expecting other people to show what our culture really is, and that is just asinine. It's our responsibility to show them who we really are. So even with the TV program that's coming on this month, I show them who Jamaicans really are. We're open, we're warm, we feed not just the body, but we feed the soul. So I'm ensuring that that was shown. I mean, there are hundreds of people that come through my house and they eat food, they talk, they learn, they're relaxed. They're not in this Japanese, like, I have to behave a certain way. Them come at my house, then jump all over, but the children feel that Caribbean vibe. And and also because of that, I think that being in Japan, we are safe, we are fed. I think the lowest salary anybody is paid is like $200 and 30,000 a month is what the cheapest salary here. Mind you, the cost of living is expensive, but I think we have to give back. So what the charity gala, and I hope it's going to be an annual event, is showing really Jamaica. Like the kiddos are gonna do, Miss Lou, and we're gonna sing traditional songs, and we're gonna have a scammento band, and we're gonna that part of Jamaica, what I call the true essence of Jamaica. There's a young lady here who was with Lakadco, and she's gonna show Kumina and Brookings, and so it's gonna be the part of Jamaica that I know, and the part of Jamaica I want to share with my family and my children. So I'm doing this, and not only that, Japanese will be able to experience pure Jamaican culture. Every single dollar we make will go home and benefit whether a home or some children or something back home. But all of the money that we make here goes back home. And I think that's the thing I've come to realize after 13 years, is that I've been given so much that it's time for me to give back. You know what I mean?
Awesome.
So, may I bother people? Hannah, don't close the screen, princess. It's too dark. Can you open the screen? So that's this year, and I hope that the TV program comes out, because with editing and things possible.
Yeah.
I hope it really shows who Jamaicans are, and we were just, having it. And it was really funny when they were doing the interviews. They were doing like interviews with people from all different walks of life, like so the principal of my daughter's school and the friends, and they keep asking, so what is Sasha like? Oh, she's just Genki, bright. Akari. What is her name? Gregarious, I guess.
Yeah.
Like the teacher was like, oh yeah, it was a pleasure. She made the class different because I don't follow the rules, right? I don't have to follow the rules. So I was able to just, let people do little things that they would normally do, right? So I hope they see that, that being Jamaican, I think, is being your own person, standing in your own sunshine, finding your own ground, and doing that. In Japan, it is following the group, assimilating, doing what everybody likes. So literally, like everybody, when they graduate, they have white pants, black suits. That's what they wear to work. If you look on videos in Japan, everything is black. Black suits, white shirt. It's about assimilating and being a part. And while Jamaica is being like everybody else, is just not unacceptable. It's just not acceptable.
Sure. One sec, Sash. All right, so Grace says, keep up the good work. Good work, Sasha. Keep on top of the Jamaican culture. Summer, that sounds amazing. Lisa, awesome, Sasha. And Grace says, keep up the good work, Heneka. Truly a great interview. Thank you so much. Dee says, great. Summer, is so important not to lose the Jamaican culture while trying to adopt the Japanese culture. No, I want to read what Arnold Kelly. Hi, Arnold. Good to have you. Arnold from NCU, Northern Caribbean University radio station there. As Jamaicans, we're great at doing things nobody expects us to do. For example, nobody thought we could even make an impression on the ice, yet we made such a great impression that our stories told in the movie Cool Runnings. We got special recognition because we did much better than many who literally lived on ice. I don't know Pumpkin's story, but I hear many people suggesting that she didn't belong in a reggae competition. Were we also wrong to challenge the rest of the world? And let me quickly answer that. Arnold, great points that you've made. Actually, great point. However, let me say this. I don't think the debate is whether or not she should or she belong in the competition. The debate is much more centered around her belief that she was the winner, and that, and truth be told, greater talent. I mean, let me not even say greater talent, because what she did wasn't really talent per se. It was just because she's different, and because she's different, and she did something that is Jamaican. Then it almost seemed as if she was great, because she was not judged with the same scrutiny that the other persons would have been judged. Authentic Jamaicans would have been judged. So I believe it's a right, or the idea that she thinks she has a right to forming Jamaican dance hall. I think that where the debate is. I don't think whether or not it's a debate as to whether or not she belongs. Of course, anybody can take part in it, and we don't want to feel ostracized when we go elsewhere. But it's just that right of thinking. And we did address that story. I don't know if you were listening in when we were addressing.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but people need to remember that Junko was dancehall queen and she's Japanese, right? People need to remember that Mighty Crown is a Japanese sound system and with international clash. People need to remember that Fatty Boom Boom come to Jamaica and she was ranked high in dancehall queen. It is not about whether they're Japanese or not. It is about talent. Junko can flip and twist and whatever, and Jamaicans like that. It was different. But a Jamaican girl, what we would call dancehall, it was very different. But Junko still won. Junko win dancehall queen over 10 years ago. And in Japan, they still call her the Jamaican dancehall queen.
Mm-hmm.
So Ranking Pumpkin need, when I say 100 seats back, and remember that Japanese have been represented in Jamaican culture. Almost every dancehall DVD, they have a Japanese girl or a Japanese guy. So Ranking Pumpkin need to realize that Jamaicans, we take in everybody. But she couldn't have won because her talent wasn't there. And she needs to remember that she's making it look bad for Jamaicans and other Japanese. What if Jamaicans say, all right, Ranking Pumpkin, seems to think we're racist and we don't want a Japanese. Well, out the Japanese come out and we video them. Don't come at the dance hall. We're not put focus on video light and you're not allowed to enter dance hall queen. She needs to stop talking her foolishness and get it together.
Yeah. Sasha, trust me, this has been so interesting. I mean, you know, I came here very open because, you know, this is not one of those formal TV where you have to stick to a script and whatever. So I came here pretty open and we went into a direction I didn't even know that we would have gone. But it was all good. I enjoyed it.
I did too.
Thoroughly. And it's now just give your final thoughts and remind us again about the event that you're putting on, that gala event. And I know that person want to hook you up on social media. So share your social media and share about your business. In 3 minutes, just wrap that up with all that.
So right now the gala is November 23rd and it's at the DMM headquarters in Rapongi, Ichome. And it is basically everything Jamaican, from dance, poetry, fashion, food. And we want to show what Jamaica is. And that's what the gala is about. And not only are we showing what Jamaica is about, but all proceeds will go back to a charity back home because I think that we have to give back. It's all right, right? I do have a business, and as I said, I do sell to corporate clients and whatever. I do cupcakes and cakes, but right now I'm not doing as much because my children are more important and they've started formal education. But if there's anything I have to say to any Jamaican overseas is that be grateful for the opportunities, accept the stresses, because at the end of the day, it will make you better. And wherever you are now, you don't have to be there. Because I never thought I'd come out of teaching. I was an executive recruiter for 2 years. When the market crashed, there were just nobody hiring. I lost my job. But being Jamaican, you're tenacious. You don't sit down. And I think it's a blessing to be a Jamaican, and we need to spread the blessing. Just be your Jamaican self, and I think life will be great. But the gala, if there's anybody in Jamaica with brands or products that they want to introduce to Jamaica, it's November 23rd, so it's enough time for it to be sent.
Hands raised.
Yeah, products, designers, anybody who wants their product to be introduced. And this is a high-end event. I mean, the ticket costs almost 20,000 Jamaican dollars. So it's a really high-end event. It's a really good way to get into clients. There'll be Friends of Jamaica there. I don't know what partnerships. There'll be most of the embassy from Africa and Pan America. So send on your products. If you want to create a gift bag to give to the gate, if you want to give something for a silent auction, wherever you are in the world, if you want to introduce your Jamaican products to Japan, please do it. And the best thing you'll know that every single cent that we make will go to a charity back home. I guess that's it. Amazing.
Sasha, I'm sitting and I'm like, oh gosh, I'm so blessed just listening to you and having this conversation. I know that our viewers are really blessed, but I feel more blessed, really, to just engage you, to hear about your experience living in Japan. I mean, we know so we're Jamaicans, and we grateful.
My plug. My battery died.
Oh, your battery died?
My battery is dying.
Okay. All right. So let me just quickly sign out. So thank you so much, Samara, for including this in another 2 weeks. We're having this bi-weekly. Do you have your charger? Because I don't want you to end before thing. Right. So we're doing this. We're doing this again in another 2 weeks. We'll find another Jamaican somewhere in the world and bring them on. And I want you to be engaging in the conversation. And certainly, right, please give your social media handles, Sasha. Thank you very much.
Yum Cupcakery, Japan.
That's YUMCUP.
YUMM.
Oh, 2M.
Yeah, 2M. YUMMCUPCAKERY. Yum Cupcakery.
Okay, and that's Facebook, Instagram.
I think all of it is Instagram, and other than that, it's just Sasha Lee Hague-Seals. I'm not social media savvy. I'll have to learn. I have too much things on my plate, but it's Sasha Lee Hague-Seals, I think, on Instagram, and I don't do Twitter. So
okay. So, and you can reach me, guys. Thank you so much for viewing. You can reach me, HenekaWatkis-Porter.com. patwaapparel.com. That's PATWAAPPAREL.com. Listen to the Entrepreneurial You on my website. That's HenekaWatkis-Porter.com, or in iTunes. On social media, Instagram, Twitter. Let me just type that, right? Let me just type my Insta. So Instagram, I am Heneka_Watkis_Porter on Insta. On Twitter, I am at the ENTREPYou. What's that? Let me just type that quickly. TheENTREPYOU, or at Pato Apparel. That's Twitter for me. And Facebook, you can find me on. We want you see, wherever you're seeing banner here, and you're seeing my t-shirt and stuff. We're actually doing product placement. So if you want to advertise with us, feel free to hook me up. Jamaicans.com. Send us a message. Send us a message at Heneka Watkis-Porter at Gmail, or Heneka@patwaapparel.com. So many ways to find me. Just Google and you will find me. Thank you so much to the Jamaicans.com team for allowing this to happen. And I know that it was amazing. Sasha, thank you so much. It's already Monday morning in Japan.
Yeah, right? I have to drop the baby at school and get my day started.
Yeah. Yes, thank you. Peace and blessing to you, to Lee.
And thank you, Summer. I'll find you. Or find me, please. Yes. And help me. Yeah, but
yeah, man. Yeah. Thank you so much.
If anybody, and also, like, I'm not necessarily like I don't do brand ambassador or anything, but we just like how other cultures have imported everything, taken everything into Jamaica, we need to take Jamaican stuff into Japan. I won't promise to be like the business person, but I'm sure I can link you up with somebody. There's two things. If you're gonna come to Japan, make sure your product is a good product, in that it cannot. If like Heneka makes clothes, if she come and the thread start pull out and 2 Japanese clients, they will never buy it again. But if you come and the product is great, they are the most faithful customers you will ever meet.
You and I need to talk. I mean, we know we started conversation, but we'll take that off here. Right.
Yeah. But I got to go drop my baby at school.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Mwah. Love everybody. Thanks, Sasha. Bye.
Pick up for the stuff. Bye. Thank you, Heneka.
Yeah, bye.